You seem to hold Captain Dopier in great esteem.
Oh, I think he's very good looking, don't you?
He is well enough for a small man.
Perhaps he'll grow.
Is Captain Dopier to live here always?
Oh, yes, until he marries.
Oh, is he likely to marry?
I don't know, he may.
But whom? Whom?
Haven't you heard? I thought you knew.
No, I don't know anything. Oh, Jenny, don't let me find out on my own. Think how awful that would be for me to find this out there. If you know something, Jenny, and if you've ever cared for me, I'm certain that you have. You must tell me the whole truth at once.
Perhaps as an old friend I ought to have told you sooner, but indeed I thought you knew. Captain Dopier is engaged to be married to my cousin, Emmy.
Your cousin, Emmy? Oh, Jenny, dear Jenny, do let me take your hand.
Are you going?
No. I was just going to ask you a great favor, and I thought that I might be able to do it better if I had hold of your hand. I was going to ask you to pick me a flower. It doesn't matter what it is.
Well, of course, but why?
So that I may have a token of you and our parting to carry with me always. That I may have an emblem of you that I shall never part with throughout the whole of my life. That's a good girl. I could not pass the old house without contriving some excuse to take a peep inside it. Very nice. Very lovely. Though on a somewhat smaller scale than I recall. Remarkable the changes in 30 years. The little village is a town now, and a railway runs right through it. Is this really the garden in which I spent so many happy hours as a boy? Poor Jenny. I wonder what's become of her. Pretty enough girl, but with a tendency to stoutness. If she's alive, I'll be bound she is fat. So this is Mr. Braybrook's. I wonder who this Braybrook is. I don't recall a Braybrook hereabouts in my day. The old sycamore at Hampstead. Oh, I remember now. I wrote to London expressly to get it for you, and when I returned to say goodbye, I found you planting it. Oh, and I contrived the most ridiculous excuse to clasp your hand. And I held it to my cheek, and I said that you were, well, it's not important what I said. I meant every word, naturally. It all comes back to me with such a distinctness that is photographic. I recall I asked you to pick me a flower, didn't I? And you did. What was it, a sprig of geranium?
Mignonette.
Ah, yeah, yes, that's right. It was mignonette. And I held it in my trembling hand, and I held it to my fluttering heart, and I said that come what may, I would never part with that flower. Oh, I wonder what became of that. You really mean to say that that's the very flower?
That is the very flower.
But you threw it down as though... And then you mean to say that you picked it up after I left and kept it 30 years? How like a woman.
And you took the flower I gave you, pressed it to your lips, and swore that wherever your good or ill fortune might carry you, that you would never part with it. And you quite forgot what became of it.
Jane,
My dear Harry, how like a man.
I was deceived, Jane. I was deceived. I had no idea that you placed that importance on my flower.
We were both deceived, Henry Spreadbrow.
Do you really mean to say, then, that in treating me the way that you did, you were merely acting a part?
We were both acting parts.
Acting
The play is over and there's an end of it. Let us talk of something else.
No, Jane, no. Let us talk of nothing else. Listen to me, for I am speaking from a hardened old heart. Far, far from the play being over, the serious interest is just beginning.